Hi everybody, welcome to Cruise Shop Fame. And this week I've got a really special guest, and I've been wanting to meet this lady for so long because a couple of years ago I bought her book called Port Explore. We're going to talk about that later. The big news though is that Kathy, and here is Kathy from Port Explore. Hi Kathy, how are you?
Hi everybody. Hi Melissa, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show. I know you're busy, so I'm really grateful.
Oh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Always got time for you.
Oh, thank you. But the big news is that you did your first cruise, right?
I did. I've been on a cruise this year. Yes. 4 days. It was absolutely awesome with MSC. We're on the very first cruise out of Southampton. Oh, so emotional. Just
Really?
Yeah, I think everyone said the same. The ship pulls away, you just weep. Yeah, really lovely and so odd. We all kept saying, oh, it just feels so normal.
Yeah.
I think everybody on board obviously was a huge cruise fan. Although I did actually meet someone on their first cruise, which I thought was amazing.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they'd never cruised before, but they wanted a holiday, and their agent said, well, this holiday. So they said, oh, okay. So, I mean, I think this could be going to be kind of the big plus for cruising, actually. It could bring the demographic right down and, really sort of bolster cruising in the UK back up to the sort of levels you see in the States, because people that have never considered it before this year, it's really the only way to have a holiday.
Yeah, I told my sister, she lives up in Newcastle, and she's got a holiday booked to Turkey in September, but I'm like, but I said you should look at Marella cruises out of Newcastle. I mean, literally she just has to rock up at the pier and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. This lady I was talking to on Virtuosa, as apparently it's called.
I've never heard it pronounced like that before.
Well, it's so funny, isn't it?
Virtuosa, we say.
We look at it like virtual, don't we? Or virtual. So we say virtuosa. But the Italians, the pronunciation is completely different. And I couldn't quite get a handle on it because with masks and everything, it kind of gets a bit blurred. But they seem to miss, I think they allied is the proper word, the U and the O. So I think and I is not ver, it's via. So I think it's virtuosa. So
virtuosa.
Or something close to that. But one of the waitresses said to me, all you English call it virtuosa. I was like, yeah. She said, why? I was like, but then none of us can say Meraviglia either. So I think they just have easier ship names to be.
So Meraviglia is Marella, but we're all saying it wrong, right?
No, Meraviglia is the first Mera, but it's spelled Meragh, Meraviglia or something.
Which is another MSC cruiser ship.
That's the original of this class. So you've got Meraviglia and then Bellissima, which we can all say, and Magnifica, which we can all say, and then they went back to difficult ones and called her.
Yeah. Just to play with us, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
They don't get us at all, I don't think. No, they do actually. To be fair to MSC, they're really making an effort. There are kettles in the cabin and all the sort of things the British. I know.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going.
British tea bags. Yeah, English tea bags. Yes, they did, and I mean there was all the stuff people say, oh well, it won't be the same because you can't get catch up and stuff. So all of that stuff was there. Oh dear, hang on, we've got. Can you hear that? Is that going to disturb you?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm on grandma duty, so.
That's okay. No, I'm just grateful that you gave up your time to talk to me today, because everyone's excited to hear. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So it was lovely. I mean, the cruise was great. The ship was beautiful. Slightly odd because at the moment the UK rules are 80% of
Wow.
passengers, or no, 50% of passengers at the moment, or
Right.
a maximum of 1,000. Well, obviously,
wow.
she takes, I mean, maximum, if every room was stuffed full, about 6,000 people.
Wow.
So they would have 1,000 out of a ship that has 6,000, where a ship that would take 2,000 can have 1,000, which is balmy. So, you know, it was amazing how good the atmosphere was, considering how few people there were on board. And they did a really good job of keeping everything open, but managing it so that it didn't get too busy and it didn't feel ghost-like, if you see what I mean.
Right, I understand what you're saying, yes.
So they did things like they closed, so that they've got this amazing sportsplex with all this
Right.
you know, virtual reality games and bowling and 3D cinemas and all sorts of stuff, driving Formula One cars. But they shut that every hour, I think. So they had an hour open and an hour shut, and then in that hour they gave it a really good clean round. I know. And then, so that meant instead of it kind of being not many people for a couple of hours and everyone going, oh, it's a bit dead in here, they were booking sort of a maximum number of people. So for an hour it was buzzy, and for an hour it was quiet, and then an hour it was buzzy. And that was going on with the water park as well, and the rope climbing thing.
Right.
So it was all really, really well organised, well thought through, I thought.
Right.
Someone had really thought about the passenger experience. So, for example, they've got, I think, 5 main dining rooms. So there's like one huge one, and then an anytime dining room one, and the ones that do the sittings. And they only have one open, which I think was the big one. And they were only doing anytime dining.
Right.
Because you couldn't sit on tables, you had to sit with your party.
Right.
So they that was buzzy, you know, because everybody, it was a normal level of people in the room. You weren't sitting there thinking, oh, it seems a bit quiet in here. And all the specialty restaurants were open.
Oh wow, great.
So they, you know, but they were booking those, and I suspect they were trying to put the bookings kind of close-ish to each other, so that again you weren't the only people in there at 10 o'clock.
Right. And did you try any of the specialty restaurants?
We didn't, because we did Yacht Club. It was our first ever experience of Yacht Club, which is the ship within a ship complex. So that's kind of, it's got its own own lounge, own bar, own decks, swimming pool.
Oh wow. Very nice.
So very, very, very lovely. We've put off trying it because I'm always worried when I do things like that I'm not going to be able to go back.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know, not that you're going to be like, well, I can't just go back to an ordinary balcony now because I want to be in Yacht Club.
Like going on the best ride at the fairground.
Yeah. So I'm trying to convince myself that I haven't done that, but I sort of feel like I might have done. I think I might be a bit, I want to go through
no, but that's fine. I mean, you know, you might have put that off if cruising was, you know, abundant and you could go anywhere. You know, this was pretty special. First cruise.
It was very special. It was only 4 days. And yes, definitely. So Yacht Club has its own restaurant. So we had there 4 nights. I mean, again, had it been 2 weeks, we'd definitely have gone and eaten as well. But it just didn't seem sensible, really. And it means next time we can go, well, we won't do Yacht Club, but we will do all the specialty dining and stuff. And that'll be just a different experience. But yeah, very, very nice. And, you know, but I think the service everywhere was stunning because there were more staff than there were.
Yes, probably.
Than there were passengers. Because I think there were 1,500 crew.
Really? 1,500 crew?
Yeah.
1,000 passengers. Wow.
You couldn't move without someone. Oh, good morning, madam. What can I help you? I went and sat in a hot tub up on the Yacht Club deck, and it was. I'd swum in the main pool because the main pool's a bit more sheltered.
Yeah.
And I'd swum in the main pool every day. But the last day, I thought I haven't actually been up to the yacht club pool at all, because it's right up on the bow and it's quite windy. Well, it's quite windy when there's a gale force blowing.
It was quite stormy.
It was, yeah. So on the last day I went up and I thought, well, I'm just going to do this. And I went and sat in the hot tub. I thought, I'm going to do this. And I'd been in this hot tub about 10 seconds. And the guy came up and he was like, "Good morning, madam." And I was like, "Good morning." He said, "Would you like a hot chocolate?"
In the hot cup.
Yeah, I'm not going to offer her a cocktail. She's blue with cold. I'm going to bring her a hot chocolate.
Did you get one?
I said no, it was very sweet. But I actually see, interesting, that's how good the service is. So I said, I might have one later. So I got out of the pool and he said, "Would you like your hot chocolate now?" And I said, no, I'm going to go back to the cabin. He said, "I'll have it sent to your cabin."
Oh.
I was like, okay. And he didn't ask me what cabin I was, so he must have checked it somehow. Yes. And 5 minutes later, I had a hot chocolate. So that's what yacht club's like.
That's like 5-star service.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's as I was talking to visit with Rich and Helen. And Helen visit with us or something. Who do a lot of blogging on vlogging on Seabourn and that sort of style.
Right. Yeah.
They do a lot of sort of more upmarket cruises, and they had dinner in Yacht Club, and they said, that it really stood up against.
Yeah, that's really good to hear.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as
the luxury ships.
Queen's Grill on Cunard, for example. I mean, it's half the price of that. So and it stood up well. Yeah, we've done Queen's Grill in the past, and I thought it stood up well.
So that's the Cunard grill.
Yeah.
Queen's Grill. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was worth doing. I'm glad I did it.
I'm good. And are you booked on any more cruises around the UK?
We're booked on the Saga Spirit of Discovery.
Exciting.
So now this is another first, isn't it? Because I've never done a Saga cruise and never even really thought about it until last summer, was it? Well, no, the summer before it must have been, when suddenly they launched this beautiful new ship and everybody was blogging and everything. And I was like, oh, actually, that looks nice. And then we spoke. One of the ladies that follows me on Instagram posted some pictures of it. So I had a good chat with her about it. And she said it was the best ship she'd ever been on, which I thought was quite sad. So we booked to do that. So we're the first cruise out of Tilbury.
Okay. Tilbury. Oh, good.
Yeah, Tilbury. That's Tilbury's London. So that's 27th of June.
Oh, not long.
No.
Like 3 weeks. Exciting.
Yeah. I know.
You have to come back and I'll have to interview you about Saga.
You see, that's quite interesting because that ship only takes 1,000 anyway. And I think there'll be 500 or so on board. So it will feel much busier, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, let's see. I'd love to interview you after that.
Yeah,
I'm going to is that 7 days or a short cruise?
6, I think.
6. Great.
I know.
Oh, great.
Scotland and back.
Okay, good. And are you going ashore? Are you going to any?
Yeah, so this is the question. Because obviously the whole Port Explore thing is about going ashore and ports, and obviously we can't. Apart from on bubbled excursions for reasons we all completely understand. Totally. But the whole ethos of Port Explore really was that I loathe tours. Generally, I'm not always, and sometimes it's a good thing to do, and there are some tours that are better than others and everything, but put me on a coach and drive me around for 2 hours and I'm like, no, really, please don't.
My idea of hell. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. So when we went to Portland with MSC, we were going to get off, and then we sort of made the call because I actually know the area quite well anyway, and I said, look, even for research, this is ridiculous. You don't sit on a coach looking at places that I've been to and not be able to get off and really walk around.
So you actually can't get off the bus?
It depends on the tours. Some of them you could.
Well, that's terrible.
You don't. Well, this is the trouble. So the Portland one you could, but you had to stay with the group. So I heard a lot of people saying the problem was that the fitness levels were quite diverse, and therefore, you know, they went to Lyme Regis, and some of them wanted to walk right out on the cob and do the whole kind of
do that experience.
Yeah, the film. Do you remember the film?
Yeah, we go to Lyme Regis a lot, actually. I know. Yeah.
So they wanted to do that, and they hardly got any distance at all because some of them were going so slow. The decision was that they couldn't go and they had to turn back. So that was difficult. And they went somewhere for tea, which they had, but there was a gift shop and they weren't allowed to go into that because that would have meant they couldn't have, the gift shop couldn't have that many people in it. And, you know, so I think we've all just got to accept that it might feel like we're back to normal, but we're really not. And it's really hard for the cruise companies because it's the government's rules on cruising that are doing this. And there was a lot of, well, this is ridiculous, I could get in my car and drive from Southampton to Portland and I could do anything I want. And the answer was, well, yes, you could, but you're not. You know, you're on a ship, and as such now you've been tested, and so you need to stay within your bubble, because if you go out of the bubble, then we've, as a cruise line, have broken the rules that we signed up for. So it's difficult. So the same thing going on with Saga. I mean, I've joined their Facebook groups, and there's a lot of people quite cross, you know, this is ridiculous, my sister lives in wherever and I can't even just get off and go and see her. And you and from that point of view it's right, but it's not Saga that people should be getting cross with, or any other cruise company. It's the government's rules that are governing the problem. So we yesterday got our thing through.
Oh, sorry. I think
I was going to say yesterday.
It's about the cruise. It's not about, you know, if you want to go visit your sister, go visit your sister. But you're actually on a cruise, and so you have to stick with that.
I mean, we did a survey on Port Explore, and it's quite interesting. I mean, half the people said, you know, the most important thing about cruising is the ship, and that's it. And really, they don't care if they don't get off. And the other half said the most important thing is the itinerary and where it's going. And if I don't like that, or I can't get off, I don't want to cruise. So I think there is a big group of people who the actual exploring ports and finding out where they are and learning about where they are is the whole point of moving from place to place, is just a sort of a bonus, really. So there will be people that are unhappy, and looking at the Saga tours, I mean, they're giving a free excursion included. And that is really just a drive. That is a drive here, photo stop, drive here, photo stop, drive here, photo stop. And then it says photo stops may be cut short if time becomes an issue. So they're obviously thinking, actually, if it takes too long to get everybody on and off the coach, to take a photo, that maybe even that won't happen. And the other point, of course, is you've got to keep your mask on all the time. So, you know, to sit on a bus in a mask looking out a window is not particularly not. So we are going to do some, because I really, with my Port Explore hat on, really should. And I should not have too many preconceptions, and I think I'm going to have to try and write a blog on how to have the best possible time whilst doing what you don't want to do. And
so speaking sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just to say, I think, you know, that's the trick, is still to research, still to find out where you're going, still to you know what you're seeing before you get there. And,
I understand. So speaking of Port Explorer, why don't you explain to everybody what that is?
Port Explorer started because, I mean, right back at the beginning, it started because we were on a cruise. We went into Venice. We had a flight at 8 in the evening. We were with Princess, and we got in the night before, I think. So we had an overnight in Venice, and then an afternoon in Venice, and an overnight, and then basically we were off the ship the next morning. But Princess were brilliant and said, you can keep all your stuff on board, you can keep your cards and come and go, it's absolutely fine, and you can leave from here at 5 to go to the airport. So we were sitting, yeah, it's brilliant, really good. So we were talking to our table companions, and we said, oh, you know, what are you going to do tomorrow? And they said, oh, well, no, we're not going to get off because we've been to Venice before. And I was like, no, no, you can't. Everybody's been to, not, that's not true, but you know, even if you've been to Venice before 100 times, there's still something to see in Venice. Get off and go and look at Venice. Well, you know, well, we've seen St. Mark's, and I'm like, well, yes, but you could do this or you could do that. And Tony said to me, oh, for goodness, my husband, you know, just back off, let them off. And I thought, well, no, this is terrible. But to them, there was only one thing to do, and that was the thing that was in the brochure. And they didn't want to spend the money, so that meant they couldn't get off. And I was saying, but you just walk up here and you get on this and it takes you in, and then you get on a Vaporetto, and nothing. You know, they were, oh no, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do that. And I thought, actually, I sort of get it, in that you're conditioned. But when you start cruising, it's all, you might miss the boat. You
because they want you to book their tour.
Yeah, because they do, and I understand why, because they don't want people who aren't used to it getting off and getting lost. But once you've done your second, third, fourth cruise, maybe there are ports where it's perfectly reasonable for you to just get off and walk. There are other ports where actually it's probably not terribly sensible. So that's really where the book that you so sweetly bought came from, was talking about, you know, how to kind of decide when what the best thing to do in each place is, and stuff. And so, you know, talking about, if you speak the language, then it makes it easier. If you don't speak the language and you don't understand the writing, so say somewhere like Russia, you can't even read the sign.
Well, case in point, I mean, most people don't speak the language, so the case in point, as you mentioned, Valpreta, they're the water taxis.
Yes, Vaporetto,
Valpreta, which are really easy to navigate and move around, but, well, to a certain extent, but if you don't know what you're doing, and actually they're a fun thing to do, and they go straight from the ship into Venice, and you can go all down the canal. It's like a tour.
Well, there is one that does. I mean, there is one, if you find the right number, that literally just does a circle. You don't even need to be scared, because you just do the whole loop, and then by the time you get back, you can either go, oh god, I can't take this, I need to get off, or you can go on and catch another one. But you know, I remember explaining to someone, she sort of said, I can't read it, and I said, well, look at it like a tube map. All it is a tube map. All those blue lines, all the different colours.
But if people didn't know that, and they don't really educate you on board the ship, you're absolutely right. Pre or during the cruise, they don't. So
no. And if you go to an onboard talk, so this is where it kind of things. So I hadn't ever really been to the onboard talks very much, because I'd always like looked it up and checked it out and got a guidebook and decided what I wanted to do.
You are a rarity, mind, I will say. You are a rare cruiser, because most people just show up.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough,
so we went to a port talk, and all he basically did was talk about where all the excursions went and why you should book them. And then kind of a bit of a, well, you could go out on your own, but we really don't advise it. And I thought, well, this really isn't helping people, it's just another sales thing. So that's when I started doing the talk, originally the Talk Explore group, where I was putting port profiles. But that's actually got quite difficult, because there's a problem. You can't download documents now from some groups, or my group's setting changed or something. So I moved it all over onto a blog. So there's blogs there on lots of different places, and you can just download it. And so basically they're set up sort of a bit about the port, a bit about, so what you can do within walking distance, if anything, what you can do within sort of public transport or a cheapish taxi or a bit of a hike, and then what there is out further, how you might do it and whether or not you should be doing it on your own or when, and then what you should look for on a cruise. So an example, we were looking on Clubhouse, we were talking about on Clubhouse the other week at the Hebrides. And you know, there's a lot you can see close into the port, but actually if you want to start going across to see some of the bigger tourist sites, they're actually quite a way away, and the roads are narrow, and it could be a problem. You know, if there was an accident or a broken down car, you could miss the ship. And so we were saying, look, this you could do on your own, this you could do on your own, but this really you want the backup of a local tour guide at least, or
be on a bus that's got a radio that can radio, and it's got
you don't want to be hiking it yourself or sort of deciding that there's a bus. I mean, someone said, oh, there's a bus that does it, and you're like, yeah, but you know,
I know what you mean. So there's like one road in and one road back. So and that's like the Amalfi Coast as well. But what you're saying, so basically, where do people go to find these blogs? Because these are really, really helpful. Because you got quite a few on the British Isles, which is where
I'm working. Yes, I'm working through the British Isles now, because obviously, I mean, they were all on sort of Alaska and Abu Dhabi, and you know, and obviously places around the Med. You know, so there's lots of stuff like that, which is great. And let's all hope we can get back there soon. But yes, I'm frantically doing. So we've just done Liverpool, because I had never been to Liverpool. And obviously loads of ships going in and out of Liverpool. So Liverpool was good. Hebrides, so I'm just doing one on Grabster. I've never even heard of Grabster, and I don't know.
Just for everyone listening right now thinking, oh God, I really need to get on that. Where do people go to follow you, or what's your website address?
The blog is Port Explore, so it's really simple. It's portexplore.me. So that's nice.
.me. Okay. I'll put that in the link.
Yeah, and then I'm on Instagram. Is probably my main social.
Yes, you're always on Instagram. I follow you on
Instagram, and then on Facebook. So we've still got the Talk Explore group, and when things are running well, so there's Port Explore page and then Talk Explore group. So when everybody's cruising, Talk Explore gets very buzzy. People start saying, you know, we're going here. And the majority of people that are in the group are quite independent cruisers. They're a lovely, lovely bunch. So, you know, they'll all pitch in and go, oh, you should do this and you ought to do that. And oh, we did this. There was one lovely lady I've got who does amazing things. She went on we were talking about Madeira, and she'd been on a motorbike and sidecar tour.
Oh my goodness.
Around, and I didn't even know they did those anywhere. And she came back and she'd done one in Le Havre, which is on my list the next time I go to Le Havre, and one in Madeira and one somewhere else. So really,
So if you're watching this, because we're almost out of time, but because I know you're busy, you've got your Talk Explore group for members only. So to head over to that. You've got your Port Explore Facebook page. You've got your portexplore.me website, and you're very active on Instagram, Port Explore also. And so everyone watching this really needs to head over to Kathy's fabulous resources, and your book is amazing. I ordered it 2 years ago. It's on my bookshelf and I still read it. Do you have a copy right there?
I do. Hang on. So that's the book.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Did you ever see the Cruise Planner?
I haven't seen that. The Cruise Planner.
The Cruise Planner. There's another one as well, Cruise Addicts group. I did one for, but yes, that's a cruise planner that's got like all sorts of stuff in it. And it's got a really useful bit at the back, so it's got placking lists and everything, but it's got like a diary. I don't know if you can see.
Amazing.
So you actually fill in every day.
I need that for my cruise.
And then you remember them. And then you actually remember.
Yeah, I'm going on Virgin Scarlet Lady in August. So I'm going to get like, because everyone's asking me to take pictures of this, pictures of that video. So I need to make lots of notes and get organised.
Or if it's just notes, there's notebooks as well. So they're on my website.
No, I want the cruise planner. Oh, the notes in there,
Yeah, they're on the website, and there's notebooks there as well, which are really sweet. So really handy. So some people that don't like having packing lists and stuff just use a different notebook for every cruise.
So you wrote a blog about going back to MSc Virtuosa.
Yes.
You write a blog about that as well.
Yeah,
Is that on the website?
so that's on the blog. That's the latest blog up. So things that surprised me the most. So I'll let you read that and find out what they were. But I will tell you one of them was mask envy.
Okay.
Mask envy is a real thing.
Mask envy.
Yeah, I went with boring white masks that I wear to work all the time.
Right.
And got on the ship, and one lady had actually got a mask for every outfit.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I imagine that's right.
Mask, and the next night it was a silver dress. Yeah. I could screamed. I thought, why didn't I think of that? So if you want to do that, there's some links to those on the blog. But I mean, you know, to be honest, now I've thought of it, I'm seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it is the ultimate accessory. So absolutely. So we'll go over to your blog. We'll get the links to all the fabulous masks that you think we should all use. You're saying we should wear on a cruise. So head over to portexplore.me and check out the latest blog. Kathy, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Lovely. We must do it again, and I'll come back when we've done Discovery. And I'll have
I want you to come back. I'm going to put that in my calendar right now. I'm going to be hounding you when you get back.
That would be lovely. So nice to actually talk to you in person.
It's and you. So if you're watching this, also head over to Cruise Shop Save. We haven't got as many blogs as Kathy, because Kathy's the writer. You know, she's a writer. I'm not really that great a writer. But we've got, you can register for maps. You can join our groups, Cruise Shop Save, we're everywhere as well, and we work with Kathy a lot. So whatever you do, have a great weekend, and if you're cruising, let us know.
Definitely. It's lovely to see you.
We'll see you around. Take care.